be consistent, be authentic, be relevant, be different, and also have an emotional connection.
You cannot become expert in everything, but when you have picked a particular space, a particular area, if you continue to hone your skill on that, of course, you are going to become very good in that area. So I think that is very fundamental.
There are quite a lot of big brands out there. In terms of beverages, I would say that, let me use Pepsi for example. Pepsi have been able to identify themselves as a brand that works with the entertainment industry. That's why sometimes when you look at Pepsi adverts, this is Pepsi in terms of Nigerian market. So when you look at Pepsi, you realize that many of Pepsi products have, in terms of their adverts, you can see Lionel Messi, you can see Neymar. I don't know if they are still their brand ambassadors, but as at the time that I know of, maybe many years ago, whenever I'm watching Coca-Cola, Pepsi adverts, you get to see Tiwa Savage, you get to see Davido, and so many artists like that. So because of they want to show themselves as people that, support entertainment. Whenever there was a time I went for a concert and Pepsi was the brand that was sold because they were their official sponsor. So Pepsi have been able to craft themselves in a niche that shows that they support entertainment. And so when people are thinking of entertainment or celebrities are thinking of soft drinks to put in their concerts, Pepsi would go to mind. When we're also looking at cars, that one is going to be being authentic. That means that you need to stay true to your values and your identity, because being authentic builds trust and credibility. So you have to be authentic. Another one is being relevant. So that means that you have to stay relevant to your target audience. You need to be flexible. You need to understand that for you to communicate to people, just like every company brand does, they try to rebrand, they try to do a lot of survey to understand what is trending, what does their audience want. So in building your own personal brand as well, you have to follow these principles. You have to stay relevant, understand your target market needs, and also adapt to changes in the market. Another one would also be differentiation. That means you have to highlight what sets you apart from others. You also have to identify and emphasize your unique value proposition, meaning that you have to know what sets you apart. Sometimes it can be difficult to want to feel different, but a lot of times when you work on what makes you different from other people and then you try to stick with that, you can be able to create a different niche from different people. The last one would be you have to have emotional connection with your audience. Using the example I made earlier about celebrities trying to share a glimpse of their personal life, let's say sharing photos of their children or with their husband or a day in their life. People like things like that because it reminds them that the influencer or the celebrities they are following are humans and they also have the same challenges that they have. They also go through the same thing they do. That alone creates that emotional connection. And because you've been able to create that emotional relationship with your audience, it can help you to create a lasting impression. So, in summary, be consistent, be authentic, be relevant, be different, and also have an emotional connection with your audience.
Those are key points, 5 key points that people really need to pay attention to if they want to build a strong brand. And I think a strong brand is really very important, like you have explained. I don't know if there are some examples of brand that you would like to share with people It could be maybe the one that you have been observing because, okay, this is your area. If somebody want to find out more information about it, they will definitely reach out to you because you are paying more attention to this than other. Actually, what I understand about this is uh, when we talk of specialization, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the only thing that we can do as human beings, as species. It just means that we decide to focus, no? Because you that is a brand expert now, you could also have become, how do I put it, a designer, a design expert, no? But it will mean that for you to become an expert in design, you are going to really focus on that. And
Yeah.
because you are limited in both in your resources and your time, there is no way you can focus on being a best designer and also be a best brand expert. It is not going to work because you cannot multiply time. So, in that sense, I mean, now that you have been able to focus on one, you are an expert in that. You can continuously build on that. One example I usually give in that line is that, for example, in my place where I grew up in a village in Uromi, which is in the south of Nigeria. So there was a man that I know there. Okay, the man is late now. He was doing goldsmithing. In that, if you needed to buy, I don't know, maybe you want to prepare your knife, he's the one you usually go to. If you want to prepare your gun, if you are the hunter, he's the guy who is able to do that. Of course, he does it and he does it very well. Okay, sometimes you also have a lot of visit from the police. You know what I mean? No?
Yeah.
So, if you want to prepare trap, because I used to do that a lot when I was in the village, I used to set trap in the forest and maybe in our farm to be able to catch a grass cutter or maybe other rodent that we can use in the house. No. So what I really want to point out in terms of branding is that this individual, or actually not only in terms of branding, but in terms of specialization or becoming expertise in a specific field, because this person that we call the Jogun was always in one place and he was continuously doing what he was doing. There was nobody else that was better than him.
Mm.
And I believe that is really what it's about in refining our skill. That of course you cannot become expert in everything, but when you have picked a particular space, a particular area, if you continue to hone your skill on that, of course, you are going to become very good in that area. So I think that is very fundamental. Now,
Yeah,
having
true.
said that, when you look at different brands in the world today, which one would you pick out for people to learn from, for people to use as a kind of a reference for themselves if they want to learn more? And why would you pick these ones? I don't know, maybe two or three, or even one. I don't know. Some good brand out there that you think you have learned from, and people should also learn from. And then, of course, you need to explain to us why you pick these brands.
Okay, there are quite a lot of big brands out there. In terms of beverages, I would say that let me use Pepsi for example. Pepsi have been able to identify themselves as a brand that works with the entertainment industry. That's why sometimes when you look at Pepsi adverts, this is Pepsi in terms of Nigerian market. So when you look at Pepsi, you realize that many of Pepsi products have, in terms of their adverts, you can see Leon Messi, you can see Neymar. I don't know if they are still their brand ambassadors, but as at the time that I know of, maybe many years ago, whenever I'm watching Coca-Cola, Pepsi adverts, I mean, you get to see Tiwa Savage, you get to see Davido, and so many artists like that. So, because of they want to show themselves as people that support entertainment. Whenever there was a time I went for a concert and Pepsi was the brand that was sold because they were their official sponsor. So Pepsi have been able to craft themselves in a niche that shows that they support entertainment. And so when people are thinking of entertainment or celebrities are thinking of soft drinks to put in their concerts, Pepsi would go to mind. When we're also looking at cars, we have Ford, we have Peugeot, we have Ferrari, we have Mercedes Benz. All of these brands have also been able to craft a name for themselves. Anyone that thinks of Benz thinks of luxury, thinks of expensive. And so, because they've been able to create that kind of idea, and how do brands like this create that kind of perception in people's mind? Do with their maybe their mission statement or their tag name.